Well, let me just put out this point that silver is the Tea Party. Not the Tea Party like a bunch of teetotalers, but actually, when you're buying silver coins, you are basically throwing the tea overboard the ships. What you're doing is you're saying, to hell with the banking and finance system, to hell with the freaking brokers. I'm not going to invest with them. You're just throwing them out the freaking door. It's not even about taxes. Maybe it could be about taxes because the way things are going with negative interest rates in Europe, and I'm going to discuss a little bit more about that, even what the Japanese are doing about that, and also even about types of taxes that might be on monies that in the future that you are holding in the bank that might be an inheritance tax or whatever. There's a lot of different things coming up because they're gonna find ways to take your savings if they have it electronically and they know about it. So what you're doing by holding silver coins is basically you are not this type of tea party where it's Alice in Wonderland. That's the Ted Cruz tea party. I suspect I didn't know about that guy too much in the beginning. I thought he was a little lame, but I figured maybe his voting record was good. But now I realize the whole deal with Ted Cruz. Oh my God, it's horrible. But I had a big suspicion on him that the Tea Party that we talk about today is a joke. It's like Alice in Wonderland, toddling the little tea with the bunny in a Mad Hatter or whatever the hell it is, right? That's all it is. I mean, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's not. It's not what the Tea Party was before. The Tea Party before was throwing tea overboard off the ships. People coming on board, colonists coming on board dressed like Indians and dumping a damn tea in a drink. Nobody's doing that. But you are doing that in a way. You're actually taking real action rather than total just sipping tea by buying silver. You are actually taking action. You're telling the financial barons to go to hell. And the actual 1% in this country, let's call them the 1 basis point. I really like saying the 1 basis point because the 1% doesn't even describe it. Even the 1 basis point doesn't describe it. But the 1 basis point is the 1% of 1%. They are by and large attached to the banking and finance sector. They don't get their money fairly, quite obviously, because the system's rigged, just like the political system's rigged. You see what's going on with the primaries, both with Trump and Bernie, right? So that's one reason. See, my channel is not really. It'd be nice you get a lot of money and stuff, but then, some people that get a lot of money are going to buy a bunch of crap made from foreign countries. They're going to blow their money. They're going to act like they're some kind of highfalutin yo-yo or whatever, and not be real. I expect, hopefully, the people that listen to my channel, when they make some money on silver, they reinvest it into a capital asset that's going to help them produce for the future. It's not going to be a get-rich scheme and sit on your ass, because production of, when people produce, production of goods and services is the real wealth of this country. It's nothing that can be stimulated. Well, it could be stimulated if the Federal Reserve actually put the money into the hard-working middle class, but they never do. They give it to, the too bigs to fail. But anyway, the way I look at it like this, we got so many political games coming up. It's a matter of, the elite have it rigged. I personally think that Hillary Clinton probably does have a fairly good shot of winning, because I don't know what's going to happen with the FBI, the fumbling, bumbling idiots, whatever sometimes they call them, or the CIA crooks in action. Boy, I can't believe they're not slamming this lady because, I mean, I got nothing against a woman running for office. No way do I have a problem with that. But I do have a problem with her. She is a psycho lady. Even the difference between Bill and Hill is a major difference. At least Bill gets along with people. He's not high and mighty. He used to talk to his Secret Service agents and wonder how they're doing, how their families are. At Hillary Clinton, they couldn't even look at her. It's like, and some people think they got to just have a woman in office, and I'm like, hey, you know what? How about just a hot blonde on a bicycle? Encouraging fitness or something. Well, that'd be nice. How about that? Now, one thing else that's coming up too. I'm gonna relate this again explain this again because it is related to the economy big time. I'm showing here a motorcycle pulling a bunch of kids in the snow. I'll tell you one thing. I've been talking about this for a while now that we're going into the mini ice age, and some people have never heard of this. happening, but it's been around for a while. Actually, I've been following this for a number of years. It's now they're talking that we are definitely heading into it big time now. You notice in the last few years we've been having some freak weather. Now, this last winter wasn't that cold, but what I'm putting this out for is because it's going to drastically affect our economy. With home heating costs, the strain on the actual infrastructure for the grid, the power grid, and also food prices. Food prices are going to go way the hell up because of earlier freezes and later freezes in the spring and earlier freezes in the fall. You're going to have a much shorter growing season. It's going to drastically affect food prices across the world. That's also going to, and see, this is something that's been going on for ages. A lot of people ignore this. They look at the political turmoil. They look at, the other issues. But, when there isn't enough food around at the reasonable prices, that's when the peasants revolt. And so I'm telling you, this is coming up. This last winter, there were some predictions about the first half of the winter was going to be extremely warm. The second half of the winter was going to be very cold. It was a little bit off, except for we had a really crazy blizzard in the Northeast, or most of the Northeast, record blizzard. But otherwise, the winters was not really that super cold. But it looks like that prediction where the second half of the winter was going to be extra cold has really clicked in for April of 2016. And you can already see what's going on in statistics, like there's places in the Midwest where they had record colds, most amount of snow in the Midwest ever in April, most amount of snow in upstate in central New York ever on record. It's going to drastically affect food prices and affect how people are going to be doing, how well they're going to be doing. Now, one thing I want to say, I'm going to put in a plug for Bernie Sanders. I'm not voting for Bernie Sanders. I don't like the fact that he call himself a socialist. He'd probably be better if he billed himself as a Jeffersonian or something like that. But, he's a hell of a lot better than Hillary Clinton by far. If he actually won the election, I wouldn't be pissed off. I wouldn't be pissed off at this guy. I would be pissed off at Hillary Clinton. Even though he labels himself as a socialist, I don't really, these conservative Republicans that are Tea Party are socialists too. I mean, it's kind of just like a BS label. But recently, Bernie's been coming out against the Verizon CEO and talking about criticizing him that people are not getting, people in Verizon workers are going on strike, and so the Verizon CEO is criticizing Bernie now. Well, you know what? The Verizon CEO makes $20 million a year plus bonuses, right? I mean, what's wrong with this pitcher? You think anybody's worth that kind of money? I mean, what are they making? I don't know what does that come out to? Like $20 million a year. That's over. That's $1.5 million a month, or whatever the hell it is around there. You're getting what? Over at least, I don't know what your hourly rate must be. It must be $10,000 an hour or something. I don't know what it is. It's something crazy. You think anybody's worth that kind of money? You think anybody's that damn smart? No. Bernie's right. There is too much disparity between rich and poor in this country. Now, what Bernie needs to do is, he's appealing to the working class. That's one thing that's good about him. And, hopefully, well, I'm going to tell you one thing. I think there's probably going to be a freaking revolution in this country after this political system getting screwed over by both the Republican National Committee and the Democratic National Committee. I guess Bernie is a little bit behind Hillary for real, but he's still getting robbed. In the case of Trump, man, he's getting robbed left and right. It's ridiculous. Like Colorado, you went all on with, and you know what? This is relating to silver. I'm going to tell you why, because it's going to make. I personally think the action for this should be people just pull their damn money out of the banks and just invest in silver, whether it goes up or down, whatever happens. Because I look at it like the example of the Tea Party. You're just pulling your money out of the system. To hell with it. If you want to really hurt these bastards, it's all related to money. If they don't get paid, too bad. You know what? Hey, we got no money, okay? No money. You see any money in the bank? No. You could bury it in the ground some damn place or whatever. Have it off your premises and, actually what I do is I got a pretty good setup because I'm hooked in with a boutique investment house and a CPA firm. They got security over there. It's better than a bank. I don't have to worry about freaking putting my money in a safe deposit box because they got 24-hour security there for my shit. That's one cool thing that I got to deal with because I don't know if you could do that, but that's a really sweet deal for me because it's not far away or nothing. But it's like it's more secure than a bank, but it's not a bank. Because I would tell people not to keep even your silver in a bank in a safe deposit box, but then that leaves you a problem. Where do you keep it? I would say bury it otherwise. bury it someplace. But as long as you don't have your money in the system, basically you are taking part in the Tea Party. It's got to go right back to old school all the way, like I'm showing here, old school. And I guess if Bernie needs to really um, pick up the beat for the last, sprint here for the run into the White House, because I think Hilda Beast probably got it for the freaking New York State. He needs to choose a really hot running mate. I would suggest this blonde right here on a Suzuki. She's riding a Suzuki, but no problem. I would suggest a blonde with the leather jacket as his VP running mate. He needs a little younger pizzazz with him. They both have white hair, so they would kind of go along and they'd look like matching twins. Bernie and the blonde, right? Because some of the people are kind of focused in on Hillary because she's a woman, but then I don't know. Some people are not thinking about how Hillary's going to sell them out. But you know what? There's nothing I can do about those people. Those people are freaking so. I don't know what the hell to do about them, man. There's some people voting for. It's like that's the way it is, man. There's nothing I can do about that shit. It's like and you know what? I'm not a fan of these conservative yo-yos like John Case and all that crap, and Ted Cruz showed his true colors. I thought he might have been okay, but no, he's not. But I'm telling you about this election because I think when this election comes about, there might be actually freaking total freaking upheaval around all over the place. I don't think it's going to be smooth. People are getting pissed off now. I think the elite are underestimating how pissed off the people are. They really are. They're underestimating how pissed off the people are. And you know what? That's going to affect the economy. But one way to really freaking sock it to the elite right off the bat is to freaking, just like Trump would say, stick it to them. Hey, the one way to do it is just invest in silver. To hell with it. Don't invest in anything that's on a, even though it's represented, you got a fiduciary that's, a broker acting as your fiduciary in trust or whatever. You know what? To hell with that. To hell with all of them. Just, invest in silver coin. I know it's a risky business in a lot of ways, but it's beyond what I'm talking about. Like what's the golden pot at the end of the rainbow? I'm talking about it's the Tea Party. It's the Tea Party you can do right now without actually doing something illegal, right? Like the Tea Party, when people did the real Tea Party way back in the day, and they dressed like Indians and they went aboard the ships and they threw the tea overboard, that was illegal, right? It was, right? Can't criticize them for doing it. They had to do it. They had to do their job, Now it's history. The statute of limitations has run out on that crime, besides everybody's dead who's involved. But the thing is, what could you do today that's legal that you could fight them and just basically throw the tea over the board is to buy silver. Buy silver. I personally preferred Trump over Bernie. But even though Bernie labels himself as a socialist, I'm kind of disgusted with that term, socialist. He ought to call himself a Jeffersonian or something, instead of that, I'm a socialist. I hate that term. Don't call yourself a socialist. It turns me off. But then I realize, Boehner's a socialist too, the guy, Republican yo-yo. They all are socialists. What are they kidding me? Except for Trump. Trump is pretty legit. He's pretty legit. I figured his military background helped him out a lot. Made him a USA first guy. I'm sticking with the USA. But, when it comes right down to it, in the end, what it comes down to is, we can't just freaking sit on our ass and freaking expect everything to come our way. We got to actually freaking do shit. And that's why on this channel, I'm not putting out, I put out more silver videos when it was really getting hammered and was getting hammered really bad because I was trying to keep people in the game, because I know long term this damn thing's going to play out. But I'm not doing it because I'm part of some freaking silver brokerage or something. I know all these guys are. Like Maloney is. He's all part of a brokerage and crap. I never even recommended getting Bitcoin. To me, there's a principle like, if you don't want electronic stuff, don't get Bitcoin because you don't like electronic stuff. There's a lot of other electronic stuff that could be good too. You could have bought gun stocks in gun manufacturers and done really good too. You could have bought stocks early on in the marijuana hemp industry when it became legalized in Colorado. They done very good too. That would have been paper too. Bitcoin, I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. It could. I know it worked out for some people, but it's a matter of principle, man. It's a matter of principle. I know, I just, when people are talking about owned money and you have it in your hand and it's physical and it's owned, well, let's stick with the freaking. Let's stick with what we said right from the beginning. Physical owned money is silver and gold, platinum and palladium, or like we can call it even platinum and palladium. But the thing is, in the end, we're going to triumph. And I think Trump is going to triumph too, because even if he loses, but he's going to triumph personally anyway, because it's going to help out his businesses. If he freaking loses and he gets screwed over, and he fights as hard as he possibly can, a lot of people are going to help support the Trump enterprises for many years to come, just knowing what he was about. A lot of people are. There's no doubt about it. But anyway, just want to state that again. I know I said it several times already, but silver basically is like the Tea Party. You are throwing out the banking and finance electronic system. You're saying, the hell with the freaking brokers. I know they gotta. I know it's not easy to be a broker. It's definitely. You know what? It's even harder to pass the series. Like some of the brokers are Series 6s, but the Series 7 test, they got all this continuing education. You got to be retested in so many months after you pass the exam. The exam is even harder than the CPA exam. It's tough. But that doesn't necessarily mean your funds are safe over there. And the thing is, it's a rigged system, because you realize, what's going on. I mean, the people that are the one basis point, they're always attached to the banking and finance system. So people go, well, that's how it is. Well, you know what? That's not right. That's not right, because they don't really produce anything. It might be difficult to get in those jobs. It might be very difficult to do. I've done those jobs like that. I mean, I've done them really in construction accounting, but I did. Man, you should see what kind of crap I was freaking doing, man. It was very. I was even when people. I don't think. Well, nobody could really have done my job, because several people could have done my job. That's really what it would have been about to. Several people could have done my job. But, yeah, I was actually doing controller services for like $1.5 billion project, too. And it was another thing. But let me tell you this, that, people are not really looking at the real deal with this stuff. Oh, this is what else I wanted to tell you. I forgot about this for a second. The Japanese are actually hoarding cash. Now, they might be hoarding silver, too. But they're not keeping their money in a banking system. They're hoarding cash. The Japanese central bank has been hot on the printing press, printing 10,000 yen notes left and right, because Japanese people are hoarding cash. You know why? Because Japan has negative interest rates. But that's not the whole reason, I don't think. I think a lot of people don't trust what's going on in the banking system in Japan. There might be a lot more hoarding of silver going on in Japan, too. Japanese are savers. But you don't really necessarily even have to save silver. You can invest in freeze-dried food. You can invest in coffee. You can invest in rice, pasta, canned goods that are good for a year, because food prices are going to go up astronomically too. Just don't waste your money on the millennial fluff that you see out there, and don't waste your money on extra high-end phone plans from Verizon or something. That's a waste of money, to my opinion. Actually, I do have a pretty high-end phone plans, but I use the hell out of it. But the thing is, if it's actually got a use for you, that's one thing. And not a use that's for purely personal reasons. But let me tell you this, though, that what's coming up is pretty severe. It looks like, let's hope this doesn't happen, but it does kind of look like the American people are going to be robbed of their will on this election. And there's going to be something that's coming up that's going to probably make the Tea Party that happened in Boston centuries ago look like a joke. And, if that happens, I don't know what's going to happen, to tell you the truth. I don't know. But, I think possibly if there's an independent ticket out there, and you got something that splits them or the Republicans, well, I don't know what's going to happen for sure, because it's I'm not sure if the FBI is going to go after Hillary. It looks like they're getting close, and Obama's leaning on the FBI and all this kind of crap. But if Hillary gets in, there probably is going to be pretty close to a there's probably going to be a revolution in this country for sure. I think so, man. I think so. I think the Secret Service are going to even revolt too, because she won't even allow the Secret Service to look her in the eye. Not that you want to look her in the eye. You don't even want to look at her, man. You ugly bitch. I don't want to look at you. And Bill Clinton's going to probably be in the White House probably trying to bang Uma Aberdeen, right? After Hillary's done with her, Bill's going to be in there. Hey, could I watch? That's what he used to say, man. I'm serious. I'm serious. I know a lot of stuff on the goods on these people, man. They're a bunch of... But you know, that's not to say that Herbert Walker Bush isn't a freak, too. They all are freaks. They all are. I mean, you know, it's kind of crazy that... I know I'm harping on this election a little more, but, you know, you got to stick with the basic premise that, you know, silver is the Tea Party. Silver's the Tea Party. But, you know, it's kind of funny that if in Utah, if they knew about, you know, the 5 or 8 mistresses that Cruz had, I bet you he wouldn't have got a landslide over there, even though I don't even know if he really got a landslide. That was another thing. They're getting all over Trump because he's been married. This is his 3rd marriage or something. No big deal, you know. That's the new normal today, right? 3 marriages. Takes you 3 times before you figure it out. So anyway, that's the new normal for today. But, you know, if you don't have, you know, 5 or 8 other mistresses, I mean, that's like, whatever. But still, I guess Cruz looks like a saint compared to Bill Clinton. And Bill Clinton looks like a saint compared to Hillary Clinton. So, what the hell are the American people voting for? I don't know. I don't know if they're actually voting for this bitch, but who knows? Who knows? Somebody is. Somebody is. But just remember, again, silver is the Tea Party. When you buy silver, I mean, I know. I think it is going to go up, and I'll tell you one thing on the end here, too, because about it going up. Silver to gold ratio is about 80 to 1 right now. Even if gold went up to $2,000, which is not really that freaking high, considering it's already been over 1,900, right? And silver went at 20 to 1, that would put silver at 100, right? If silver went 25 to 1, what would that put it at? 80 or something like that? Around 80? Roughly? Maybe I got that wrong, but yeah, I think around 80. $80. Right? So say silver went, and I don't think 25 to 1 is too off base. So even if I say $60 or $70 for silver, 60 to 75, I don't think that's off base. It might take a couple years, but I don't think that's off base. I mean, but then again, when that happens, everything else is going to be high price. Food, energy, electricity, gas in your car, blah, blah, blah. You know, so, you know, you got to prepare all the way around. All right? All right? And like I said, I'm not going to concentrate only on silver videos, because the ones that are concentrating only on silver videos, they are the pumpers, because they are tied into the brokerage houses. And even though I work for a CPA firm, or I don't work there all the time, and it's attached to a boutique investment house, I have nothing, what I'm doing on here has nothing to do with them. They don't pump silver and gold. They don't do that. They tell you other things. Like what I'm telling you here is actually against what they tell you, what they would say to do. Okay? I mean, even though I work with that stuff, I do not, you know, it has nothing to do with this. It's nothing. Nothing. I mean, believe it or not, it's what the hell it is. But you'll see that most of my videos are not going to be strictly about silver, but, you know, it's all about survival, too, and what we need to do. So remember, and, you know, the money will come to you. It will come to you, but just remember, if you concentrate too much on the money, it's like it's a curse. You got to look at it like from principles, too. You got to look at the money, but you got to look at it from principles. If you look strictly at, oh, I got a lot of money, it'll bite you right in the ass. Think about your next capital investment. Think about your next move, the next thing that can actually help you produce, and what can benefit you in the future. Because a lot of capital goods, durable capital goods, will be they'll be on very depressed prices. That's a good expression, not a good expression, but their prices will be very depressed on durable capital goods, during a time of high commodity prices. That's pretty much what happens. Inflation is in food, energy, precious metals, in agricultural products, industrial metals, and then when you take hard, durable goods like cars and houses and things like that, those things are depressed, and also even types of equipment and machinery because people don't have the money to spend on it. They don't have money to spend on durable capital goods. That's where you want to make your next move, but that depends on the individual where you want to do that. It's not a catch-all one-answer thing. It depends on what your skills are and what you want to do. But as far as the basic principle, where hard durable goods will be depressed, large ticket capital hard durable goods will be depressed. Not a perfect expression, but those things